Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Sunday, Mother's Day. I hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. Just a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And we just crossed on Bitcoin 6th week in a row where we're red in a candle chart. Never seen that before, at least going back to at least like 2015. I've never seen Bitcoin have 5 weeks in a row where it was red, or 6 weeks. I've seen it where it was 4, 5. I think I saw 1 5 week on Binance. But this is unprecedented that we're in 6th week of red candles, and we're starting out obviously the 7th week. So we'll see if this is actually going to give us a bounce or if it's going to drag us down lower. We'll take a look at it, but we'll also take a look at obviously Bitcoin versus the miners for the week, see how they performed in the markets. We'll also take a look at which miners performed the best as far as for the data that I have currently in April for hashing for BTC. So we'll take a look at that. And I think that's it. There's another thing. 6 out of the 10 or 10 out of the 16 miners that I cover right now, they've all reached new 52-week lows. So it's bad out there right now. All right, so let's get into it here. So not financial advice, as always. You guys know the drill here. I'm investing in finding coins and companies. And let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin right now, we just finished out the 6th week in red. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going back on the chart, like I said, I haven't seen anything here on, I think this is on Coinbase, that was anything close to that. The closest that I got to this was 4 weeks of red. On Binance, I was able to find one period of time where it was 5 weeks, but that was also could be questionable whether it was 5 or 4. It was really close. So this is unprecedented that we're seeing here, obviously 6 weeks, and I think this is mostly driven by institutional investors. I think retail investors would have picked up on the slide a little bit, but we're not seeing that right now. So I think that kind of breeds a little bit precedence to the fact that a lot of people are saying that institutions are now driving the Bitcoin price, which could be the case. So we'll see how much lower we can get. We're obviously right now at 34,063. Our support here is on the white line, which is 32,750 roughly. So we still have about, another 1,500 or so to go before we reach that, which isn't too far off of that. And we'll see if we can maintain that support there. We are obviously not doing good in Bitcoin. Looking at the weekly chart, it has come down. The daily chart on the RSI has also come down pretty low. It still hasn't reached the all-time low here. We haven't gone that low since probably hitting it back here, which was back on, when was that back on? That was back on right around here. So that was January 21, where we reached about, how low did we get? We got about to the 32,500 mark, I believe it was, 32,700 mark. So that was the lowest we got in a while on the daily chart on the RSI. We're getting close to that again, so I think we may dip to that and see if we can find this as support. Right now, we're obviously going to be battling with the resistance here at 37,500 if we get up there, but it's going to be tough. Looking at the 4-hour chart, or actually the 1-hour chart I want to look at. The 1-hour chart doesn't look good either. If we look at the RSI here, going back to the 7th of May at 1,600, we pretty much bottomed out here. And we've continued to go up on the RSI. However, the price has continued to go down, which leads me to believe that we are actually going to possibly drop down even further, which then would possibly be having us test the 32,750 mark. So we'll see how this plays out. So that's going to be interesting in the next couple of days. I think that's probably going to happen. I don't see, unless something really, really changes where we start going up. But right now it's looking like we're going to go down, unfortunately. So let's take a look at the miners here, how they did on the week compared to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was obviously finished out the week. I track it by Friday. So Bitcoin was at 36,040. And Argo finished out at 70 cents. Boston was $3.63. Lexfolio was 16 cents. CleanSpark was 6.54. And Bitfarms was at 271. Hive was at 140. DMG was at 34 cents. DigiHost $2.24. Iris $9.49. And Sphere was $1.52. Core was $5.17. Marathon $14.95. Riot was at $9.49. Hut 8 was down, was not down, was at $3.41. Bit Digital was at $1.92, and Stronghold was at $3.10. So the ones that are in red here are the ones that actually don't report on their monthly production updates like the rest of these guys do. I'm still waiting on Argo and Mawson to provide theirs for April. But obviously Sphere, Bit Digital, and Stronghold don't do that. I wish they would. But here's something interesting that I also noticed, that the three guys that don't provide those updates, monthly updates, they are also down the lowest right now as far as off of their 52% week high. So their 52% week high on Sphere was $11.98. It is obviously now $1.52, so it's down 87%. Stronghold is down from $20.74 to $1.92, so it's down 90.7%. And Stronghold was $35.80 at its high. It's down to $3.10, so it's down 91.3%. And then the rest of the guys here are like 79, 79, 82, 66, 72, 74, 75, 71, 72, 83 is the highest one here, looks like, out of the bunch here, Luxfolio. And then we got Mawson at 79 and Argo at 70. And obviously Sphere was at 87, and then the other guys were above 90. So I think because they're not providing those updates, monthly updates, it's obviously driving the stocks down even lower. So I think if they wanted to provide better value to their shareholders, I think they should provide those monthly updates. I think that could possibly help them from bleeding out too much when obviously the market is going down. Obviously the other guys aren't being spared either. I mean, they're down 82, 79, in the 70s, 80% mark, but not at least 90% down. What else do I want to show you here on this? Yeah, like I said, 10 of the 16 miners here have reached new 52-week lows just within this last week on Friday, and then like a couple on Thursday and Wednesday of last week. So we're getting to that point where they are just way oversold, in my opinion. They're obviously mining more than they were last year or the last 52 weeks for the lows, but they're obviously hitting new all-time lows again. All right, so on the 1 week, Bitcoin was down 2,568. Argo was down 10 cents. Mawson was down 22 cents. So Argo was down 12.72%. Mawson was down 22 cents, down 5.71%. Luxfolio was down 6 cents, down 28.4%. So that's a lot. CleanSpark was actually up 5 cents, so it was up 0.77% on the week. Bitfarms was down 17 cents, down 5.9%. Hive was down 0.06 cents, down 4.11%. DMG was down 2 cents, down 4.72%. DigiHost was down 34 cents, or 13.18%. Iris was actually up 80 cents, 9.21% on the week. Sphere 3D was up 15% or 15 cents, up 10.95%, and that could be because obviously it's gotten beat up the most. Well, not the most, but one of the most ones here. So it could be just a bounce on that. Core was down 74 cents, or 12.5%. Marathon was down 65 cents, or almost 4.25%. Riot was down 65 cents, or 6.41%. Hut was down 15 cents, or 4.21%, and Bit Digital was down 11 cents, or 5.42%. And Stronghold was down 0.80 cents, or 0.80 cents, down 20.51%. So if we look at it descending, we can see obviously Sphere did the best, Iris, CleanSpark, followed by Hive, Marathon, Hut, DMG, Bit Digital, then Mawson, Bitfarms, Riot. Bitcoin was down 6.65%. Core was down 12%. Argo was down 12.72%. DigiHost was down 13.8%. Stronghold was down 20%. And Luxfolio did the worst here at 28%. So let's take a look at our bar here. You can obviously see only 3 stocks were in the positive. Everybody else was in the negative. And everybody here following 6.65 or 6.41 for Bitcoin, everybody here did worse on the 1 week. And then had you bought 4 weeks ago, if we look at it sort descending, we can see that everybody's in the negative territory. Bitcoin's down the least. It's down only 11.13% on the 4 weeks. And then the worst one out of the bunch here is Luxfolio at 37, followed by Riot, Stronghold, Core Scientific, CleanSpark, Bit Digital, Marathon, DigiHost. I mean, everybody's down. I mean, you can see how Bitcoin's only down 11%, and these guys are down 3x that, 2.5x, 2x here. So anytime Bitcoin goes down, miners will do twice as worse or even 3 times as bad as Bitcoin does. But the same is also true when Bitcoin goes up. These guys will do 1.5x, 2x, 2.5x, 3x better than Bitcoin does. Looking at the 8-week chart here, let's take a look at it here. I wanted this one. So we're descending. And we can see the Bitcoin's down only 13.78% from 8 weeks ago. And you got Stronghold down 71.56%. So it has gotten clobbered. Riot was down 51% also. It's a huge drop. That's a 4x from where Bitcoin was, obviously a drop. Bit Digital pretty close to that as well. Marathon, CleanSpark, Core, Hut, Luxfolio, Hive was down 31. Bitfarms was down 30. Iris down 27 from 8 weeks ago. And then let's look at the 12 weeks. On the 12 weeks that you bought back then, Mawson, you'd actually be up on Mawson approximately 4.91%. Bitcoin is only down 9.97% from 12 weeks ago. And worst performer was Stronghold, down 69% or 70%, followed by Bit Digital, Riot, Hut, Sphere, Luxfolio, Marathon, Core, DigiHost, Iris, Hive, CleanSpark, DMG, Bitfarms, Argo, and Bitcoin, obviously. So it's been a challenging last couple of weeks, months. We'll have to see, obviously, how this continues going forward. There's just no way of knowing what's going to happen forward. But you can see here that it's been pretty much red here for all these guys here in the past couple of weeks. We did have some good green weeks here around, this was in March, January, February, March, yep, around March, beginning of March, and March was a pretty good month. Otherwise, April was pretty much in the red for everybody. And then we're starting out in May being all red again, which isn't good. All right. One other thing I want to take a look at as well was the mining statistics for the miners. And wanted to look at as far as which ones hash the best or basically earn the most BTC per their petahash. So we did this as so what we're doing here is we're taking the Bitcoins mined for the month of April. Some of them haven't reported, so we have March here for some of them. We have March for Argo and Mawson because we're still waiting on those results, but everybody else here provided their April numbers. So we're just going off of those numbers. And we're just taking the amount mined, dividing by their hash rate at that time, and we're getting a BTC per petahash, how much they're earning. And then this way we can kind of see who has the best possible mining for that month, as far as the best statistically best mining for that month. And if we look at it descending, we can see that DMG actually did the best here in April. They mined 0.147 BTC per petahash, followed by Luxfolio, which was 0.141, then Hive at 0.133. Iris was at 0.132. CleanSpark was at 0.13. Mawson was 0.127. And this is actually from March, so we're still waiting on that one. And then we have Core 1.26. Bitfarms at 1.22. Hut 8 at 0.12. And DigiHost was 0.109. Riot was 0.108. Argo was from March, so this is from March, 1.102. So it'll be interesting to see once they actually provide that number, what they're going to be in April. And then Marathon was obviously the worst here. They got 0.077. They were obviously down 31% of their Bitcoin production from down from March. They were down 31% in April because they obviously had to have their electrical plant shut down for maintenance and things like that. So they did really, really bad from April on that. But kind of interesting to look at it. Hash rate, small hash rate here, 600 petahash for DMG, and they obviously pulled in the most Bitcoins being mined, followed by Luxfolio, which only has 180 petahash, and then obviously Hive. But Hive also does Ethereum mining, which helps out tremendously for them. They have a lot of miners that are mining Ethereum, then they're converting over to BTC. So that's helping them tremendously on that. And Iris did really well too for being only 1.03 exahash. They got pretty good. They did really well for that. CleanSpark, same thing. Mawson obviously did pretty well as well. Core is 8.9, but I would have thought they would have been a little bit higher. But I think it just all depends on the pool maybe you're in that you're mining on. I think some of the pools, I don't know. I think the pools may make a little bit of a difference here as well, as far as what you're able to earn in BTC. So that's it. We'll have to see, obviously, what plays out of this. Going forward into the next week, obviously, Bitcoin's not looking great right now. It's hovering at the 34,000 mark. We'll see where it ends up at, but I'm still betting on that. We're probably going to test this 32,700 mark here on Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. It's just looking like it, at least on the hourly chart, it's looking like it. Same thing on the daily chart. We're seeing a trend coming down here. But we'll see. If it bounces off of this mark here, the 33,638 mark, roughly right around here, or at least stays above this green line here, we may be in a ascending triangle, which could prove to be a good thing. It might mean that we're going to be kind of trading in this range here, and then finally have an episode sometime in June, towards the end of June possibly, where we either catapult a lot higher or we're going to catapult a lot lower. So that'll be interesting to see. But usually when this happens, it runs up higher. So like I said, we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to keep an eye on Bitcoin, see if there's any regulations. I doubt we're going to get any kind of spot Bitcoin ETF anytime soon. So that's it. So like I said, it's been rough and it's not good. And, you know, from the comments that I hear from you guys are in pain. You know, it is painful. It's not easy watching your money go down and down and down week after week. The only thing is that I can kind of bring to you guys in this is I've been investing in companies like Hive since 2017. They were at like $3. They came all the way down to like 8 cents. My dad and I have been buying into it the whole time, dollar cost averaging. That has worked out well for us in the past. I don't know if it's going to work out as well again this time, but we've seen this cycle before with Bitcoin where it goes up, like a parabolic rise up, and then we slowly fall back down. And sometimes that actually presents us with the best buying opportunities in Bitcoin and the miners and other coins that are obviously very reputable. So not financial advice, but do your own research. And this is a long game here, I think. This is not going to be one of those things where you're going to be rich in the next couple of months. I think this is going to be one of those things where you invest for the long run. And I think in the long run, you'll end up doing well. So my 2 cents on that. Like I said, not financial advice, do your own research. But as always, thank you so much for watching, you guys. The spreadsheet is always available to my Patreon members. And thank you so much to the Patreon members for their support. And that's it. We'll see what happens this week. We'll obviously provide any updates that we get. And that's it. Happy Mother's Day again. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.